How About That Cigar is proud to bring you coverage of the 2023 PCA Trade Show, all brought to you by Don Doroteo Cigars. How About That Cigar, PCA 2023, Crowned Heads, John Huber.
Matt Ty.
My friend, it's great to see you.
Good to see you as well.
How's life going on over the last year?
Last year's been kind of crazy,
yeah.
You know, but it's good. It's good. It's good to be here.
Yeah.
It's good to be back and see all my friends and kind of that's my joy of the show.
Right.
You know, I get to see guys I don't see all year round, and that's what I've been doing. I haven't written one order.
Yeah.
I've been smoking cigars and talking to people, doing interviews with good people like you guys, and
yeah, that's
kind of my gig here. So it's fun.
No, that's good. It's I always love meeting with people that we only get a chance to see a couple times a year. And so
I would be in that category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, honestly, outside of the trade show, you've got a lot of stuff going on. You're busy.
Yeah, so. There's a lot of family commitments too.
Sure,
absolutely,
of course, and those got to come first.
Always do.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
So behind us here is a very, very exciting new project. So talk to us about this.
This is La Vereda. This is our first regular production brand with Ernesto Perez Carrillo and Tabacalera La Alianza since 2020.
Yeah.
So it's been 3+ years. That was Capa Especial back then. But in March of 22, I got together with Ernie and I said I wanted to do a new regular production line with them. We were due. And I had some ideas on the blend.
Yeah.
And so we started on that direction and we played around with it. And I thought we had it all done. And then in November, Ernie said, no, we're going to start all over again.
Okay.
So, but when Ernesto Perez Carrillo talks, you listen, right?
Yeah.
So the idea of the blend that I had ended up being completely different than what the end result was. So Ernie kind of opened the vault for us and said, okay, we're going to use these tobaccos. It's like, okay, what's behind door number one kind of a thing. And so we ended up starting to use this Nicaraguan wrapper that is just amazing. It's aged 4 years. It's shade grown in Jalapa.
Okay.
It is the same wrapper that he used on Encore, which was his first cigar of the year. So I was like, let's go,
Yeah.
And then we started working on the blend. We got the binder down. We got the fillers down. The fillers are aged 3 years. We've got some Nicaraguan in there. We've got some Dominican Piloto Cubano in there.
Okay.
The Dominican Piloto Cubano gave it a little bit more of a punch, but it's like rich, round, citrus. There's a lot going on in the cigar, very complex. And then we narrowed it down to the best rollers that we could get down there, the best pairs. We narrowed it down to about 7 pairs that produce it.
Okay.
So it's not a limited production cigar, but the production is dictating the distribution, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Right. So we've got like the first, say, 30,000 cigars already have been rolled. Those will be released probably end of July, beginning of August, depending upon box production.
Yeah.
And the packaging really went through 3 very distinct phases. One, I had it all buttoned up and ready for production, ready to go. And Ernie's like, I don't like it. So again, I leaned into Ernie. And so I said, okay, let's try this. So we went in a different direction. That's better. But he wasn't like, So long story short, I mean, a collaboration gets thrown around a lot in this industry. But really, in retrospect, this was really a collaborative effort. Like I really leaned into Ernie for his guidance on the tobacco selections, the packaging direction, even the sizes. Like we came down to the final blend and I said, what about vitolas? What's gonna speak in this blend? And he's like, I know you like 46 and 48 ring gauges. Because that's cute, but let's do it. This is gonna have to be bigger. So we started, working down the selection of different vitolas. We ended up with a 50, a 52, 54, 56.
Okay.
And in my opinion, the 54 and 56 are the best in the brand. But I had to have a Robusto extra in there, like a 50 and then a Toro and too. So this is what you have. This is La Vereda.
Nice.
4 sizes from Ernesto Perez Carrillo. I'm tickled about it. I think it came out great. Had a lot of people comment to me like, this doesn't look anything like you've done before. And I'm like, is that a compliment or a backhanded compliment, So I wasn't sure how to take it, but it's all been very positive.
Yeah.
And yeah, I couldn't be more excited about it.
No, it's great, and I agree. It's a divergence from what people would maybe call like that looks like a
crown heads.
Looks like a crown heads.
Yeah.
But it's just really sharp. It pops. Can't wait to try the cigar. But and it's an exciting project. One of the things you mentioned that I was even thinking of in my head was when you blend a cigar, when you're working on a blend, there's market decisions about Vitola, like what sells and what doesn't, and then there's also blend decisions. Like there's got to be certain blends that you try in a Vitola that you really want, like in your heart, you're like, I want this cigar in this Vitola, and you try it, and it just doesn't work.
100%.
So how do you guys gauge like market decisions for Vitolas and blend decisions?
Well, I'll tell you, like for, let's say Le Patissier, the PCA exclusive 2 years ago, that was more like I wanted that cigar to work in a 46 ring gauge. So I didn't care about the market. I was like, I just want this to work because I think it's sexy. It didn't work. Okay. When I did the regular production brand, I was like, okay, we needed to have more volume, more breadth for that so that the broadleaf didn't overpower it. So when we came down to like the 54s in the Le Patissier, it worked so much better. I'm like, oh, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So same thing with this. I didn't look at the market decision. I looked at the blend decision. Like, where does the blend speak? Can it speak in a 48? Probably not. It's going to be a little bit more too intense. It's going to lose that florality. It's going to lose the rich cream notes. And when I got to the 54s and 56s, I'm like, this is what it should taste like. So it was more of a blend decision as opposed to, 6x60 sell. Let's make that. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So,
well, now as we look kind of forwards, things are changing for the PCA trade show as we've known it for the last few years. Typically, last few years, it's Las Vegas, it's July. That's just what we know. Now we look ahead this little bit shorter timeline for next year's PCA. So how does that change the way you guys approach getting projects ready for next year?
Yeah, it kind of threw a kink in the armor, so to speak. I mean, it's like this took since March of 22 to get here.
Yeah.
So in theory, you would have needed to start on 24 like a couple months ago, realistically. But fortunately for us, like I'd been working diligently on another project that I was like actually contemplating, okay, this one's buttoned up. I got 250,000 bands already ready to go. I got the blend finalized, the sizes, the packaging. And we're like, no, La Vereda's too good. I don't want to cannibalize it. So that brand is already done. It's in the hopper. Dishes are done. I'm ready for 2024.
Yeah.
So everything else will be icing on the cake for us. So nice. I dodged a bullet on that one.
Yeah.
So it's already.
That's good. It was kind of a happy accident that things are just going to line up.
Yeah. So we were able to put that one on the back burner.
Okay.
But all I got to do is make boxes and cigars. But everything else is final on that. So I'm good. I'm in good shape for 2024.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So now, looking ahead, just for this year, this calendar year, as your guys, your salespeople, and even you are out, occasionally at events throughout the country, or just talking to retailers, seeing consumer feedback on social media, maybe. What are some of the trends you're seeing in your core lines across the country right now?
Trends, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can just go back on like the feedback that I get, like, social media you just mentioned, and I can tell you what's hitting, what's not hitting. Like Le Patissier seems to be getting some traction.
Yeah.
There was a little confusion in that because initially we released it out of Radio Pichardo's factory, and then we transitioned it over to Noxa. And so, like, I want to make sure people are making the association with the Noxa product because I think it leveled up a little bit.
Yeah.
Patissier is doing well. Tim's OFC stuff is doing well. Bosphorus, Aramis. He's got his limited edition here, Pie Synesthesia. And really, I mean, we didn't really want to focus so much on La Vereda this year to the point where like we just want to get it everywhere. And, we want to make sure it's in the right stores with the right people that are going to support it. So if we walk out of here and we have it in, say, 150 stores, I'm happy.
Okay.
It's going to be a slow growth as the production increases in La Vereda. Then we'll be able to open up a few more doors, and we're going to grow it very slowly and meticulously. Even like the accessory lines that I'm going to do for it, I'm not going to do like cheap ashtrays and cheap cutters. It's going to all be high end. It's going to be a luxury lane that we're trying to get into.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what the future is for us on that
nice.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with that because the tobacco's in the cigar, the blend, the presentation of the boxes and the bands. It is. I don't want to say level up, but it does have that luxury, high-end feel to it. So I agree that any accessories, any promotional stuff you're going to do has to match that.
I mean, like we usually give away hats to promote a line, but I didn't bring any. I mean, they're done, but like for instance, I'm doing like a trucker for La Vereda, but the front of it is suede.
Nice.
So, it's kind of like, business in the front, party in the back kind of a thing. But just little nuances like that.
Yeah.
We'll do some interesting POS for it as well. But it is a different lane for us. And I like, even for the packaging, when I changed it for the third time, I'm like, I'm not going to look at our industry for inspiration. I started looking at luxury houses like Patek Philippe. I looked at Gucci, Cartier, Louis Vuitton, these kind of things. And I was like, okay, I want inspiration from that. That was my inspiration board.
Okay.
And that's how we came upon this, with the lockup with the LV and all that kind of a thing, and the bunch ribbon. Just little flourishes like that to really do the cigar justice, because it is a special blend, and Ernie has given us access to some special tobaccos. I want to treat it right.
Right.
So, yeah.
No, it's very cool. Very excited to try it, and looking forward to seeing it in stores. So
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, John, for giving us some
Appreciate the time. Always a pleasure.
All right. Thanks guys.
man.
We'll see you again soon.
Cheers.